guys, it's Bailey from Making Up Midwest, and in this video I'm going to be recreating one of the looks Jojo wears in her video for Disaster. This was a requested look and I am so glad it was, because after I got to see it, I really like that it incorporated this kind of minty green blue color that's going to be super popular for spring, as well as kind of underneath all of this color and liner, if you can't tell, it's kind of an interesting, subtle, defined neutral eye for every day. So even if this is at first looking like nothing you would ever be interested in wearing on a daily basis, just watch the first kind of beginning part where I lay the neutrals using the Naked palette as what is on the lid entirely, because I kind of think it's an interesting new way to get some subtle definition for the daytime. So if you'd like to see all of that, please continue watching. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, prime my eye using MAC's Painterly Paint Pot for a nice, smooth, even, opaque base. And I'm just going to use my finger to blend that in all over my lid as well as underneath. Obviously, you can see here that I have color underneath my eye, and so you want to put base under there as well to make sure that color sticks. So now, good news for everyone who always wants tutorials using the Naked palette. All of the lid work is going to be done using the Naked 1 palette. And the first thing I'm going to do is start off with the Sigma large fluff brush, or the E50, just because it's nice and big. And what I'm going to be doing first here is applying a wash of color using the Shadow Virgin, which is the light kind of satiny white color. So I'm just going to sweep that all over my lid, being super messy with it because it's not a very bold color. You can afford to be a little messy. Just doing a wash of color from the inner corner all the way to the outer corner, as well as applying a little bit just beneath my eyebrow. Now the crease is just a whole bunch of layers, starting off with an e.l.f. What brush? This is a crease brush. It's a tiny little, just kind of tiny domed crease brush. And I'm going into the shade Naked, which is it's the lighter of the two matte shades in the Naked 1. Kind of a light camely color if you don't have the Naked palette. And I'm starting in my at the outer corner and keeping it in my crease and just wedging that in the outer portion of the crease. In this look, all of the kind of deeper, darker shadows never go really past the outer third, which is kind of cool and kind of different. I've never done it before, so this was kind of a new experiment for me. So using that color, I'm sweeping it, starting in the outer corner and sweeping it down towards the lash line and sweeping it in towards the center of the eye. But like I said, not keeping it inside, don't go past the outer third. Next, I'm going in with Buck, the other matte shade in this palette. And I'm just going to do that same motion again, starting at the outer corner, down to the lash line, sweeping it up in to my crease. Then I go back in with that fluff brush and use the more narrow tip to blend that out into the crease. Next, I'm going to start deepening that outer crease up with a mixture of two shades, and that is both Smog and Dark Horse. So taking that mixture, I'm going to be a little bit more precise because they are darker, and I'm going to keep the motions a little bit smaller, bringing it down and then just sweeping it the teensiest bit into the crease. And for this, I'm going to rely more heavily on that fluffy big brush to blend it into the crease and soften it up. Now I'm going into Creep, the shimmery deep black, and I'm just going to touch that in the outer corner because it is very pigmented and very dark. And like I said, then just going to rely more heavily on that blending brush to blend it into the crease. Now it's time for the liner. This is just a basic black gel liner. Whatever you have lying around is going to be perfect. I'm using the Wet n Wild Fergie Collection black liner. Nice basic black liner. And then this is my Bdellium Tool 710. Some of you have been asking me about the brushes I've been using, and so I'm going to do a better job at telling you what brushes I'm using as I'm kind of talking, whether it's one of these where I'm talking as I'm doing it or a voiceover. So obviously the wing she has going on there is somewhat dramatic, so I'm just starting off with kind of a basic, laying the groundwork for a basic wing here, lining the lash line like I would on an average day. Then to create this more dramatic wing, I'm going to follow the line with my lower lash line. So this line is going to run parallel with that, and it's actually going to follow this outer wing shape, this outer V shape I've already created with my shadow, which is kind of nice. Serves as a road map. So then once I have that kind of messy line drawn there, I'm going to draw a line to my lash line and then just start filling it in. So now for the fun part, and this was the hardest part of coming up with this tutorial, is finding the right blue. It's like not quite blue, but it's not quite green. It's kind of like the mint green that's very popular this upcoming spring, which is kind of perfect this look then because it's on trend. Anywho, long story short, it took me ages, and what I've come up with is this. As a base, I'm using this Glam Shadow Stick from NYX, and it is in the shade Enchanting Jade. And you can see, oh, by the way, she also has her nails the same shade, kind of a mint greenish blue color. And that is from Julie G. This is her Gelato in Venice, I think is the shade. Yes, Gelato in Venice. I love this. It's going to be awesome to have this for spring. Awesome mint shade. Anywho, it matched this pretty well. Like I said, it's from NYX Enchanting Jade. And I just run that all along the lower lash line. Then to set that, and this is optional, I'm going in with a mixture of two shades. This is from the NYX 5-color shadow palette in the Caribbean collection, and as you can see, it's a ton of awesomely bright colors. I'm taking a mixture of both the green and the blue and just using that to set along my lower lash line. And this is a tiny brush from Sonia Kashuk, just a tiny little detailer brush, but any detailer brush will do. Then I also go back in with that Glam Shadow Stick, that's what it's called, and I use that to line my waterline as well, because it looked like she just kind of continued whatever color was on her lower lash line up to her waterline. And this acts really well, actually, as a waterline kind of liner shade. So that, oh, mascara, let's do that next. Because I'm applying lashes in this look, I'm using CoverGirl's Clump Crusher because it's a great mascara for a very subtle sort of definition, which if you're wearing lashes is really just what you need, something to help them blend in with the lashes you're wearing. For lashes, I'm using these Kiss 5 times faster and easier. It's the lashes with the string, and I'm not going to actually do this on camera because I already have a tutorial. If you're curious about how to apply these with the string, I already have one up, so I'm just applying these. These are number 03, I guess, 03. They're not actually as full as I would like to have them for this tutorial. Hers are actually a lot fuller and long as well, so I didn't happen to have any that I was happy with, so these are what I'm using, but lashes or no lashes, it's your call. Her complexion in this video is flawless but very natural looking, not too cakey or heavy looking, and so for that I'm going to be using the Revlon Nearly Naked Foundation, which I've just been using for a little bit now, about what, 2 days or something like that. So I plan to have a review of this coming up soon, but for the most part it gives just that, just a really nice, light, natural, healthy complexion. Just applying that with the Real Techniques buffing brush all over the face like I typically do. So the thing about wearing this color blue aqua kind of mint green color so close to your eyes is that I find it brings out my bluish greenish circles that I can sometimes have when I'm tired, you know, haven't gotten as much sleep as I should have. So I'm definitely going to conceal. This I'm using is Revlon's Color Stay, has a nice kind of precise lipsticky type of applicator, so I can get right up into that corner, sweep it out. I'm using the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, I think that's what that is, using that to buff that in. Her complexion and lips were very natural, so I'm going to use CoverGirl's Cheekers Instant Cheekbones Contouring Blush. It just has 3 shades of really nice natural nudie shades, and I'm using the e.l.f. small tapered brush to swipe that right underneath my cheekbones. I mean, it looks like she barely has anything on. Alright, last step before the transformation is complete. It's the lips. Like I said before, they were very natural, neutral, and had kind of a balmy texture in this video. So for that, I'm using this Revlon lip butter in the shade Brown Sugar. This is a little bit more brown and a little bit more shimmery than I'd like, but it'll have to do for the situation. It has the right texture and kind of color I'm looking for. Alright, so that wraps it up for this recreation of JoJo's look in her video, Disaster. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something useful out of this, whether it was how to apply this under eye liner in kind of a hot, trendy color for spring, or whether it was using the Naked palette to create kind of that subtly defined, everyday, neutral eye. I kind of like that personally. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, right there, or there depending on where you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!